Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Maggie, and welcome to the M&M Debrief, the podcast where Mike and Maggie discuss the top stories in politics and sports and try to make sense of the headlines. Mike, do we have any follow-ups from the last episode?
I'm afraid I do not.
Let's jump into the New World Order.
Yeah, there's a lot of action. It's not just the war anymore. We've got economic issues. Trump is pissed that he's getting his ass kicked in Iran, so he takes it out on Canada. I don't know.
And North Korea, yeah.
Turkey
South
South Korea, and Turkey's snitching on Netanyahu to Interpol.
Really?
It's a little nasty, but it's a mix. It's a kinetic war, it's an economic war. I don't know, but I guess today we have started Operation Economic Outcast, which is an oldie but a goodie from the playbook. We get the Sanction. And the bad news for us, I guess, is that
nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares.
Nobody's
scared.
Nobody's scared of it. Yeah, you're right, man.
We are embarrassed.
What's the expression? When the tide goes out, everybody knows who's not wearing underwear. This kind of thing. So when Warren Buffett. So we've basically got our ass kicked from Iran, and now people are not really caring so much about the dollar being the currency, the dominant currency, and petrodollar and all that. So
we're just not. It just means we're not powerful anymore. We've lost our standing in the world.
We've definitely lost our standing. I think we're still somewhat powerful. We definitely have lost our standing, though. That's for sure. So Scott Bessent, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, it's just that in the old days, if a Reagan or an Obama or Clinton, Bush, anybody stood up and said, seriously, we're going to have sanctions against a certain country, we would have already brought the rest of the world with us and gained their understanding and, the credibility of what we're doing was the right thing to do and it made sense. And we would bring people with us, right? But we're just doing things ass backwards. This should have been something we started with and then ramped up to blowing up little girls' schools. I don't understand, honey. I just feel like the judgment's not there. This is a bad idea. It's going to make us look even weaker because it's going to fail.
Yeah. It's no doubt that most of the rest of the world, I wouldn't say the rest of the world, but most of the rest of the world really isn't really scared of us, doesn't really want to support us. Back when we elected people who were somewhat respectable, they trusted that America was trying to do the right thing. I think those days are definitely behind us, and that nobody is worried about trying to do business with the dollar being the dominant currency. If Iran wants to sell oil to China, they'll just do it between the two of them. They'll just do it in their own currency. They're not going to care about the petrodollar anymore. And they're just not scared of us anymore.
And in fairness, it wasn't that people were scared of us really before. It was just that they respected us. We've lost back.
Yes. That's probably the better way to put it. That we're just not respected anymore. We're still powerful. We still got the second largest economy, and so we still got money and stuff. Although with our debt, I don't know about that anymore. But people are just not respecting us anymore, and I think it's rightfully so. We've elected this awful person twice, and he's just wreaking havoc. Nobody's reining him in, and nobody's got any honor or dignity or class or backbone to try to rein him in, and the rest of the world is like, well, okay, dude, we're just moving on here,
American political leaders have checked out, and there's nobody home.
No. We've got a terrible toddler in charge, and nobody's here to slap him down here, I guess. So China, Russia doesn't give a crap anymore. That we'll just do whatever we can. Europe isn't going to support us that much anymore. They got to worry about dealing with Russia. Canada is already starting to change their supply lines. to get the oil. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, Canada is our next topic here, but the current administration is the final vestige of a day gone by, I think. So Trump, Besant, who used to work for George Soros, by the way, they're all thinking it's 1984 and everybody is going to respect us and kowtow to us, but they've all looked around and said, "We're looking at the quality of people that you're electing, so we're moving on." So we're just not that into you anymore.
Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, so, and then Iran is just basically saying anybody who participates in these sanctions will no longer get oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, so they're talking tough, rightfully so. So we will see what happens. Besant today was talking to system where you can't make payments anymore, or they'll hold on to the dollars or the Iranian currency. They'll hang on to it and not give the money back to them. And then Iran will just say, okay. We'll just start bombing more shit, or
they'll just say, we don't care. We'll still.
Yeah, we don't care. We've been under sanctions for 47 years.
Heartburn.
We don't care. Russia's going, hey, we've been under sanctions forever. We don't care. We'll just get with China and Iran and a few others, Turkey maybe, and we'll just start making our own little business here. And so
right.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. They're talking tough, but I don't see it happen. Trump will either taco out or whatever. So
it's more embarrassing because he's come down from big bombs and I'm going to obliterate this and blah blah blah, and now he's going down. I mean, this is so strategically bad and poorly thought through. It just shows you that there's no adult in the room that's trying to kind of guide him in making good decisions. The judgment is terrible. It just doesn't exist. But if he was smart, this is where he would have started. And then you're bringing down, you're diminishing your threats. And if people ignore you, you look even weaker. And very impotent.
Yeah, that's the ultimate just irrelevance. We're moving to irrelevance.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, even the bad guys, we still pay attention to them, and now countries more and more are just whatever, dude. We know you're gonna chicken out. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we are also in another trade war with Canada, and they're not backing down. I mean,
good for them.
Mark Carney, God bless him, was trying to be an adult, and but apparently enough is enough. I don't know why out of the blue we're backfiring against Canada. Well, basically Trump's pissed about Iran, so he's got to try to bully somebody and get control, and so he's going back to Canada, who's got to be our first or second best ally ever in the history of friggin' history. And another 50% tariff, and Canada's basically saying, okay, we're gonna match it. We're gonna match it tit for tat here. And Doug Ford, who's the head of Ottawa, he's just basically saying, I am instructing all 440 cities in Ontario to not do any business with any Americans, any construction. You're done. Anything else?
You don't get our lumber.
Yeah, so we're talking like $300 billion worth of stuff for American construction companies that would have gone in and helped on various projects, and they're persona non grata. All the goods are off the shelf. What's really going to hit us if they decide to not send us oil? I think we get, I'm going to say 5 million barrels of oil a day from them. If they decide to cut that off, that's going to be trouble. The good news for us is that they don't have any place else to send it. If they had another pipeline going to the West Coast or something, they could really do some damage. So we'll see how pissed they get, but good for Canada. They're just basically fighting back, and so we'll see how that goes. Well, speaking of oil, Canada is going to do some maintenance on some of their pipelines, and they're going to cut about 300,000 barrels a day because of maintenance. So we'll see how that affects us. But shit, if I was Canada, I'd cut us off completely. But but they're businessmen too, right? They need to sell their oil, so they're Carney's trying to be adult here, but I think he's reached the limit here. So
well, there's definite impacts, on those states that border Canada, that do a lot of trade with Canada. It's going to affect the not to jump into it too soon, but it's going to really affect the midterms in those states. Michigan, Maine, New Hampshire, up there.
Yeah, it's kind of, people are trying to decide who's going to get hurt more by this. Who needs who more? Who do we
Well, it's
need
just so
them? We need them
unnecessary.
more.
Nobody should be getting hurt.
Yeah, this is no. That's the thing. It's completely unnecessary, and yeah,
He's mad.
a lot of northern states get electricity from Canada, Minnesota, Michigan, Maine, New York. I think over North Dakota as well. There's cross-border stuff. The oil comes through. The economies have been finely tuned to be intertwined, and now all of a sudden it's all blown up, and everybody's trying to figure out what am I going to do? Where am I going to send this? People in Kentucky are now, okay, I can't send all this bourbon to Canada because they won't take it anymore. Now where the hell are we going to send our bourbon?
Right.
It's completely unnecessary. And
completely.
yeah, so anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Turkey has put out an Interpol red notice on Benjamin Netanyahu, which I think
that?
It's kind of an arrest warrant. Similar to you got the ICC, you got a warrant for an arrest from the ICC, but this is through Interpol, which is like I don't know what it would
European
be, the FBI,
police, FBI,
the
right?
FBI of Europe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out a red notice on him, which can't be good. I gotta admit, I didn't follow up on it, but a red notice can't be good.
No.
So,
that sounds like a good name for a new movie,
Red notice. Right.
Red notice.
I also saw that Netanyahu was back at the UN, and like 90% of the people just walked out on him. He's trying to give a speech.
Why was he even giving a speech?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just trying to stay in good graces, tell everybody that we're doing this stuff because of self-defense and all this. So
yeah, nobody believed it.
Yeah, a few people believe him, I guess. But let me see here. There was a retired general, or maybe a current general, that did confirm that 15 of our bases in the Middle East are now unusable, which is basically almost all of them. Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, everything. We have 15 unusable bases in the Middle East.
Wow.
But it's almost all of them. And so that's been confirmed, I guess. We've talked a lot about what we're seeing. So they're going to run all their missions out of Tel Aviv or, I don't even know. But, the Iranians are now using the Chinese satellites. And if we were going to do anything sizable, they would start bombing the airfield before we had everybody taking off. So let's say they want to do some monstrous mission, right? It would take them, an hour to get all the planes into the air. But their tracking is so good that they would know within 10 minutes, and they would start bombing the planes before they even took off.
So has anybody, besides Natalie Hart, has anybody actually told Trump he lost?
It's irrelevant what the truth is. I mean, let's say what we're saying. The truth is irrelevant.
We can't take another 2 years of this.
It even came out today that before the war, this is back in January, he went to Tulsi Gabbard and said, hey, if I started attacking Iran, what would happen? They basically said almost exactly what has happened. That Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz, we'll run out of ammunition.
Won't be able to get oil. The rest of the world.
We won't be able to get oil. Like almost to
recession.
perfection. Almost to perfection. Her report said exactly what is going to happen, what has happened, and look what happened to her. She got fired.
Yeah. And Trump was like, nah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Bibi says everything's going to be okay. So.
What an idiot.
The American media ask him questions like he's a normal person. CNN, MS Now, Fox. I mean, he's not. So it's irrelevant what he's thinking because he's going to be thinking something different tomorrow. So. But there's a yeah between Trump and Melania at the NASCAR race they had in Washington.
Oh, yeah?
A couple days ago. So he and Melania were in a heated argument, and they've got lip readers who are lip reading them. And in fact, their people went to, I think it was on Fox, and told them stop showing the president and Melania because people were seeing that they were fighting. and we can't quite tell what they were fighting about, if it was Natalie Harp or something else. So anyway, sidebar, I guess. So the official casualty numbers went up to over 700. They're starting to approach four figures between killed and injured now, 776, something like that. Let's see. And then the last thing I got is a reporter from Stars and Stripes basically got fired for telling the truth about what's going on the USS Abraham Lincoln. She got fired for insubordination or something, and she was just reporting the truth about what was happening.
She was told not to talk about it, and she talked about it.
Oh, well, she probably wasn't told not to talk about it, but she talked about it, and then they told her, okay, you can't talk about it. So we're going to fire you. So, all right. Anyway, I think that's all I got for the... You got anything else?
I don't have anything for the war. I'll say what I got for domestic.
Economic Outcast. All right, we'll see. It's not going to go.
We thought economic theory, Economic Outcast.
It's not going to go anywhere.
And it's not going to be so outcast.
Yeah, not going to be so outcast. Yeah, we're going to be the outcasts. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, domestic. Let me see here. Well, I'm going to go with the first thing here. Dolly Parton died today.
I know.
So sad. I would usually save that to the end, but man, boy, what a bummer.
Yeah.
One of the last few people who everybody loved. I mean, if you want to talk about rags to riches, man, she was born in a single room house in Tennessee, I think, and they paid the doctor with a bag of cornmeal or something to deliver her.
Good Lord.
And came out of nothing with nowhere and got herself to the top of everything and just beloved.
Amazing.
And because of talent, she could sing and write music, and was just a decent person. And she had a library. Her father couldn't read, so she created this library where she's sending 300 million books to kids everywhere and trying to promote literacy. And boy, I just love a rags to riches story. And she just came out of nowhere, Tennessee, and God, iconic.
She has Dollywood.
Yeah.
She's amazing what she's accomplished, and she just has such a heart of gold all the way through.
Just a decent person all the way through.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer. I wasn't going to lead off with that, but I thought we'd lead off with that. So let's see, on the domestic side here, I've got Congress is worried about ghost jobs, which are when companies put jobs out on LinkedIn or whatever, and they're not real, or they leave them up when they should be taking them down.
Even though they've been filled, they leave them up just to make it look like they're out there.
Yeah, and so I'm not quite exactly sure why they do this, but they're called ghost jobs, and I think
that's just awful and pathetic. And
yeah.
As somebody who was on the job market not long ago, that's just sickening.
Yeah, I'm sure they got some reason for it. They want to see what people's skills are.
Them look more vibrant and
exactly. That was it. That's one of the things that if they don't have any jobs, then people are thinking, hey, why does ABC Corporation not have any jobs available? They want to try to look.
Yeah.
Right. But they're also trying to find out what salaries people are asking for, that sort of thing. But yeah, right. I agree. But all right. But the real big domestic issue is Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner had some sort of meeting. It looks like even the administration is seeing the writing on the wall, and it's pretty likely that the Democrats will win enough seats to take over the House of Representatives, and which means it's pretty likely that Hakeem Jeffries will be the next Speaker of the House. And they had a meeting, and a lot of people are not happy about this. Not a lot of people from the left are not happy because, I understand the spirit of cooperation, but everybody's saying, well, this Kushner is just one of the architects of this awfulness that we've had to deal with. Why are you even talking to him?
It's an interesting choice,
I understand.
because he's not actually a member of the
he hasn't been appointed, hasn't been approved by any congressional. He's just married to the president's daughter, and he's just doing all this shit, and he's got all this power. So that's another reason. Like, why the hell are you talking to this guy? Why don't?
Well, I suppose who else would you talk to? Is there anybody else you would possibly trust?
The chief of staff of the president. How about that?
Not Stephen Miller.
Appointed position.
Not the chief of staff. Not Natalie Harp.
Yeah, who are you going to
You
talk
know,
to? Yeah.
he was Nick.
I mean, I'm not. I understand you have to be professional and talk,
I
but
mean,
man.
I guess I get it. I mean, I guess I would talk to Kushner too because he seems to be the person who is the adult.
Hmm.
But anyway, I could see going to Kushner, but also this is a little premature, you know?
Yeah, and then a lot of people are not. A lot of people on the left are not happy. The base of the Democratic Party is more and more anti-Israel and more in favor of the DSA philosophy or
Mm.
agenda, and the corporate Democrats and the corporate media are just slamming these guys. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Hakeem Jeffries didn't even get elected.
He
didn't get
may
the.
not make it.
He might not make it. You know,
He looks weak.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's the presumptive Speaker of the House of Representatives, so we'll see. But he's a big APEC guy, and he just announced that Jared Moskowitz, who is like the most virulent Zionist in the Democrats, is going to be in charge of the subcommittee on the Middle East and Northern Africa, which is.
God.
That's
Really?
probably the worst choice you could make, considering
That's just showing exactly where his loyalties are.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But for now, he's probably going to be the speaker. But the DSA people may have a sizable fighting force to affect some stuff. So
I think you'll have a revolt if Jeffries is made speaker. People
yeah,
just don't like him because he's done nothing.
just too corporate. Yeah.
He's too corporate. He's done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We need actually a strong leader,
Mm-hmm.
not an
Yeah.
appeaser.
Yeah. So a lot of people aren't happy about this. Carville, who's bitching about everything lately, So I'm gonna say, well, I keep thinking that the parties are gonna split up. I would guess that the Democrats would probably split up before the Republicans split up. But
They need each other right now. They'll split
yeah.
out later after the election, but not now.
So, alrighty, the data center backlash is growing and growing, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of data centers are being made. I mean, you should, if you got a minute, maybe you want to watch Clayton Morrison and Tucker Carlson talking about data centers, and there's a lot of angry backlash. I don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. Jason Kelsey, who's the famous football player who retired a couple years ago, Travis
Mhm.
Kelsey's brother, who just
Mhm.
married Taylor Swift. He does this pretty funny commercial for something called Garage Beer
Mhm.
and Liquid Death, and he's basically saying, "We need your pee to cool off the data centers." It's kind of funny.
Mhm.
I can't quite explain it. We'll see if anything changes, but I don't know. I'm a big user of these data centers because I'm on Claude and ChatGPT a lot.
There's just no regulation, and they should have built them
Yeah,
with an understanding of the impact on the surrounding community.
right. So the real issue, I guess, is that these companies just don't give a shit about,
Exactly. And because nobody's making them give a
regulation.
shit.
Nobody's making them give a shit. They're just paying off the local officials, and boom, they just start making one. And there's no regulations or anything. And so we'll I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Just
But
they don't care.
it's getting worse. So.
Yeah.
There's a columnist for the Washington Post that got reinstated. She made some cracks on social media about Charlie Kirk when he died, and the Washington Post fired her. But she didn't make any cracks, but she wasn't very sympathetic. I'll just put it that way. And an arbitrator said she was fired unnecessarily. Karen Atia,
Mhm.
and she got reappointed, and she gets all back pay and benefits.
Good for her.
Coincidentally, she's the only black columnist that got fired.
Right. Mhm.
And I noticed that I should have brought this up last episode, but Harry and Meghan are moving back to the UK, apparently. I'm not quite sure exactly what the family dynamics are, or maybe Harry misses home, or they want to be
I
close to their
think
father.
I know. I think the story is, honey, that they thought they were going to have this media empire,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the Kardashians, and they just didn't make it. Netflix didn't renew some of their
Mm-hmm.
programs. And so,
They're,
as somebody said, not everybody makes it in Hollywood.
they're,
And
yeah.
so now they're going back home.
They can be more of an influencer from the UK instead of from California.
Yeah, maybe they're not such big influencers as I thought they were.
I am just personally disgusted by the way they're treated by the British
Family?
press and the family. I don't know, but I just the way they treat her is just horrible. And so I don't know where they think they get off with this, but money talks, I guess, right? So then they got a better chance of making some cash from the UK and being royals as opposed to being royals and outcasts in California. Okay, fine.
Right.
Business decision. Okay, fine.
Well, their kids are going to go to a nice English proper school and
Eton or whatever it is, wherever Harry and William went, whatever.
Right.
English boarding school. So
Exactly.
and I'd rather live in California, but it's
Right.
They made a business decision, I guess.
They are keeping their house in California though, so
okay. All right.
they could be back.
Yes. So, all right. And then the last thing I got is that some Chinese engineers have created a robot that can run faster than Usain Bolt. So,
oh my gosh.
Usain Bolt has a world record in 100 meters at, I think, 9.56 seconds. And this robot ran 100 meters in 9.32 seconds. So the world record in a 100-meter dash is now owned by a robot.
Couple things that I wanted to share, honey.
Okay.
You talked earlier about the trade war between Canada and the U.S.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just read that Trump threatened to change Lake Ontario's name to Lake America. No, seriously. Seriously.
I got to admit, I find that particular thing kind of interesting because so he decides to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And it's like the thing borders how many different countries?
Yeah.
And what is the actual name of it? And I guess according to America, there's a database where you keep track of the names of all these things. And all you got to do is change the entry. And all of a sudden, I guess legally it's the Gulf of America and there's no law or anything. And so this is probably the same thing. You got a waterway that's bordering Canada and America and he's just going to rename it in the database to Lake America or whatever. Yeah, because he's a putz. That's why.
If something's not nailed down, he's going to steal it. And that's the same mentality here. Unless there's an actual law against it. And even then, if there is a law against it, he might decide to just ignore it. But,
yeah,
people have to agree to using a different name and others are not doing
we gotta do a deep dive here.
People are just going to ignore it. Yeah.
Is Trump showing the strengths in our system or the weaknesses in our system?
He's showing the weaknesses and, I hate to think that we have to go down and write a law for everything, that we can't have good sense. We can't trust people's good sense and integrity and the norms, but
yeah,
that's the world now. The other thing I read, honey, was that there's some talk. Remember what happened to the East Wing of the White House?
Mm-hmm.
There's some talk that Trump might be threatening to do the same to the Kennedy Center and turn it into a amphitheater.
Yeah. Taking class and dignity and turn it into shit, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the White House looks awful.
I mean,
it's just gold.
How can there still be 32% of the population supporting him?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
I think he's under 30 now, but still, who are these people?
Seriously? What is wrong with those 32% that they still think he's an okay dude?
Yeah, well, we'd have to talk about the bell curve of intelligence, the bell curve of all the other human traits.
Yeah.
It's just people they just like a white guy president. Doesn't matter how much of a piece of shit he is. He wears a suit and he looks okay, so he's probably okay. They just trust whoever is in charge, a certain percentage, just go along with whatever. And they don't want to admit they're wrong because then that'll make them feel bad. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I have something else too. Elon Musk won't face charges for promising $1 million voter giveaways in Wisconsin because no jury would conclude it constituted election bribery. A county
Should have had that under
prosecutor.
follow-ups, honey. Why didn't you have that under the follow-ups?
Sorry, I wasn't
Wait.
on top of things as you.
Who said that? I mean, who concluded that? Who concluded
It
that
was a county prosecutor in Wisconsin.
So probably a Republican. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Ugh.
No laws, no accountability. It's a free-for-all. It's chaos. It's whoever's in power gets to have whatever they want, and the rest of us have to.
Yep. I'm trying to think. Now that we're doing random stuff here, I think we got 41 days of oil left. I think on the Strategic
41
Petroleum Reserve.
days.
I thought it'd be out by now, but apparently we still
I
got.
work from home and I can walk places. I have a bicycle. I need to put a basket on my bicycle so I can go to the grocery store.
And you have an EV, so you're okay.
I have an EV too. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. And we have solar panels on our roofs.
Solar panels on the roof, yes.
Yeah.
All right, now. That's all I got. Thank you for listening to episode 37.
37. Goodbye.